Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 80 proof brandies. One is from Europe, one is from North America. Now, the one from Eastern Europe is called Odessa V.S.O.P, very smooth old. And this is the blue label. There is also a khaki label. I don't know why they do label, or if the color has something to do with a production date. Because I saw both labels at Total Wine. I just bought the blue one for no particular reason. Odessa V.S.O.P brandy, premium quality, age at least 4 years. Is from Shustoff.com. Shustoff Distillery opened in 1863 in Russia, the Russian Empire, but today that part is called Ukraine. And and the distillery is now called Odessa Cognac Factory. But they can't make cognac anywhere but France. But that's what the Soviet Union changed the name to. It was called Shustoff Distillery. Then it was called EX hyphen X Shustoff Distillery. And then they renamed it Odessa Cognac Factory. They just kept the name, but it's Shustoff.com. And you can look, they have so many different products, and they're very detailed. Their website is so detailed in how they produce everything. So they claim they're the largest distillery anywhere in Europe. Competitor, another big company, Korbel, established 1889, Korbel California Champagne Cellars Brandy. Francis Korbel, he was from the German Confederation at the time, what was called the German Confederation, in a country called Bohemia, the Kingdom of Bohemia, Moravia and Czechia. Bohemia and Moravia, the Czech Republic today. Plastic foil cap cover. But at the time, it was called the Kingdom of Bohemia, and it was under the rule of the Habsburgs. The King of Bohemia was Archduke Francis Joseph. Archduke of Austria, Emperor of the Austrian Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary, later on Austro-Hungarian Empire, rubber cap, King of Bohemia, and other realms and territories. Okay. But he escaped. He was a revolutionary, one of these socialist revolutionaries, but he became a capitalist businessman. Oh, well, nothing new there. And he fled. He escaped from the Austrian captors from the prison, and he came to California. Good place to be if you're going to be a left-wing revolutionary, right? All right, anyway, and he started Korbel, the company. He died in 1940, but the company's still around. They make all kind of champagne mostly, but they also produce a line of brandy. It's produced at one facility and it's bottled somewhere else. I don't know why they do that, but they have their reasons. And it's under the ownership of the Brown-Forman family-owned company today, Brown-Forman of Kentucky, so in Tennessee. So that's your story there. Amber, I think what happened was when Francis Korbel died in 1940. You know what? I'm thinking of Paul Masson, who died in 1940. Paul Masson. That's another example because he died and his family sold the company. They were like, no, we don't want to run it. So they sold it to somebody else. That's a common thing. And then people will say, look how Bell's Brewery sold out. This is a good example last year or earlier this year. Look at Bell's Brewery. They sold out. Yeah, that's true. They did sell out to an Asian company, but there's a reason. Larry Bell personally owned it, and he wanted to get out, and none of his family was interested in running it. Well, you can't force people to run a company, so he sold it. Let's see, Korbel. There's a Korbel mansion in California, the headquarters, but you can, mainly it's for renting to date. Like they're renting for events. Yeah, Korbel was founded in 1882 by three Czechoslovak brothers named Korbel. Purchased by Adolf Heck in 1954. Gary took over in 1982. And but it's owned by somebody. All right, what other brandies does Korbel? Well, let's go to Odessa first, since that's the older company. Wings and Pizza said, I never knew Korbel made products other than champagne. Yep, they make brandy, which is not sold in my town. I don't get it in this town at all. I had to go to Metairie at Dorgnac's food store to get it, okay? Now, there's champagne. You want everybody that sells champagne on the shelf sell Korbel. They're both amber, very dark, unusually dark, and they're probably colored with caramel. Yeah. Caramel coloring. MF Doomer TV, my favorite Doomer TV, says, I love your content, man. Have faith in the blood of Christ alone for salvation. God bless. Well, that's what did St. Paul say in the book of Acts? There's no other name under heaven whereby men must be saved. No other name under heaven by which men must be saved. If St. Paul would have been a Freemason, he'd have said, all paths lead to the waterfall. Okay, you know, that kind of junk. Just follow the guideposts. There used to be a magazine my mother got called Guidepost Magazine. It was interesting because Vincent Norman Peale was a big time master mason. So interesting, he called this magazine Guideposts, which basically led people away from, it was supposed to be a Christian magazine, but it was basically, you know, you say, well, that's a Judeo-Christian content, but it's more like Judeo-Masonic content. All right, but anyway, another story for another day, but very interesting story nonetheless. Okay, so Shustoff, all categories, the collection category, the vintage, the Shustoff category, the old history category, the Grand Royal category. Grand Royal, oh, and they also produce Beastie Boys records. There they go. Ordinary category, I like how they just call it the ordinary category. Grand Prix Paris, Shustoff 150, Chocolatier, that's the flavored cherry chocolate flavored ones, and the Speakeasy, oh man. Let's look at the ordinary category, perhaps. They got Desna, Brandy Desna. It's an ordinary 3-star brandy, produced since 1988. Now, this is kind of poor translation because it says it is a beautiful, and it says is known to several generations of amateurs. I don't know what that means. But when they translated it to English, they didn't do it. This brandy is a great digestive. That is combining well both with coffee and cigars and with fruits. 4 to 5 year alcohol. So 3-year brandy is a VS. 3-star brandy is a VS. Sorry. That's a Desna number 3 and a Desna number 4, which is 4-star, which means it's aged longer. And they add older spirits to it. Okay, so that's just like their basic offering. The V.S.O.P, the one I have, is their a little bit more elevated offering. Just like I told y'all, they have super expensive products and ordinary and just a little bit better products, such as the Odessa V.S.O.P. Korbel. Now, I have their base model, the California Brandy, which would probably be like a VS, but they don't give it a designation. So we don't know how old it's aged. I mean, how long it's aged. It just says handcrafted in small batches, only the finest California grapes. They're going to all say that, you know, or whatever, whoever's grapes are using. Masterfully aged to perfection in premium oak barrels, fire charred and mellowed to achieve a golden amber color, rich butterscotch aroma. Well, at least they're telling you butterscotch, because a lot of these scotches taste like, brandies taste like scutterbotch, butterscotch, an extra smooth taste. Winners, it's won 2-time gold medal winner. They give you some recipes like a brandy old fashioned. A lot of people like old fashions. V.S.O.P, I've never seen that around here. I've never seen any thing except the California and the XS, which they had at a store here that went out of business, but because they tore it down and built a Chick-fil-A. This is a flavored brandy, XS, extra spicy, because they add spices to it, like vanilla and other natural orange essence, fragrance, spicy. I had that one. Tanya Makowski and myself did a duo examination of it, a live examination. She doesn't really do videos anymore. She doesn't do videos. And Korbel 12-year, Korbel 18-year, and Korbel 25-year. Now, I think you can probably only buy those in California. I've certainly never seen them here. And I can assure you they're not going to be $14.99 for a liter like I paid for this. Korbel is $14.99 for the liter. Probably $16.99 now with the JB inflation. But yeah, it's been an okay product. It's not going to set the world on fire, you know. But it's going to be adequate. Some say the world is going to end in fire, and some say in ice. But from what I know about college football, I side with those who say fire. All right. Here we go. This is not the place for me. Have no doubt. By some strange catastrophe, I've been transported to a place far, far from home. Well, it smells like white grapes. Think of a white grape wine, Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay, something like that. And then think about somebody distilling it, turning it into liquor through distillation, and then aging it in oak barrels, probably like ex-bourbon barrels, for 4 to 6 years. And there we go. This smells a little caramel and butterscotchy. Now I'm thinking it's the Shustoff Odessa V.S.O.P. But you see now, Korbel just said on their website the butterscotch, both 80 proof. Now, if they don't have an age statement on brandy, does it have to be aged at least 4 years, as with the whiskey rule? I've never seen a rule about that on brandy. Of course, I may have overlooked it. You know, I might have been on the Tax and Trade Bureau website and just totally overlooked that rule, but I'm not aware of it. But it could be. I don't know. I know in whiskey, it has to be aged at least 4 years if there's no age statement. Now, some people get confused, and then they'll come on and do videos on YouTube. But, you know, we all make mistakes, but they'll say, oh, whiskey has to be aged at least 4 years. No, it doesn't have to be aged at any particular length of time, okay? Neither does bourbon. It just has to be aged 4 years if, it's just the important part, if there is no age statement on the bottle. Okay, that's where people get confused. And I can understand the confusion because it gets a little complicated. This has got to be the Korbel. And I'm going to tell you why. There's a lot of grape skin and grape leaves. I mean, grape leaves. If you ever go to the Greek festival in New Orleans at the Greek Orthodox Cathedral on St. Bernard Avenue by Bayou St. John, there's a bayou that runs through the middle of New Orleans. You can even rent a canoe and ride, you know, paddle in the bayou. But or some people go fishing in there, you know. They even found cars in there one time. They went dredging and they found actual entire vehicles that had gone off or had been dumped in the bayou. It was amazing how many vehicles they found. You wouldn't think it's that deep when you look at it, but you might find out. But anyhow, if you get their stuffed grape leaves with the ground meat stuffed inside the grape leaf, it's going to have a similar taste to this. Of course, this doesn't have any ground meat taste, but it got the grape leaves. Let's go over here with this one, shall we? We shall. I know that's the Shustoff because it got too much caramel flavor. like butterscotch flavor. Now, the Korbel talks about butterscotch. They got nothing. They got nothing on the Shustoff Odessa V.S.O.P. No way. That is a butterscotch bomb. Now, I don't know how you feel about that candy. I like it. Some people just repelled by it. They'll say, oh, butterscotch turns my stomach. I don't know why. It just tastes to me like butter and caramel mixed, but some people get really done out by it. But so which one tastes better? Oh, well, the price is about the same, so that's not an issue here. What kind of depends. If you want something a little more bitter, it's kind of bitter, and you got the grape skins, which is kind of a tannic type thing, like tea leaves, and then you got that grape leaves. So if you want a bitter brandy like this, which they tell you right there is designed for mixed drinks, first thing they talk about is, let's talk about cocktails, our brandy old fashioned, and a sidecar and all that. Well, yeah, to be fair, it's not really designed for sipping, but it's kind of their base level. But it's still, you could do it. It's doable. Yeah. So it would work. And drier, it's drier. So this might work for you. But if you're going to do a sipping brandy, I would get Korbel V.S.O.P. At least that, or the XS, because it's got spices in it. So you might want to get those. But assuming you ever see them, I have never seen them. I mean, I did see the XS once, a half-size bottle, 375 milliliter at that old place that closed down. Millet's. Looks like millet, but it pronounced millet or millet. Now I prefer the caramel. Maybe I got a sweet tooth, or maybe I don't have good taste, but I prefer the caramel butterscotch flavored. So it's a little nicer to drink, but they're both very nice. I mean, it's just a personal preference issue on this. It's not a quality issue. I don't think it's a quality problem. Looks like Shustoff's got it going on in Ukraine. I feel sorry for Ukraine, of course, with all the problems that's happening out there. Terrible situation. When will men stop thinking of nothing but war? That was a quote from the movie Zulu Dawn, 1979. All right, so this is the Shustoff, the V.S.O.P, the Odessa, from Odessa, Ukraine. There we go. I got it. Hadn't got it wrong yet. Then a perfect score for me. Is that because I'm a great taster? Well, it could be, but I think it's mostly because Odessa is unique and nothing tastes like it. Helps a lot, doesn't it? Last one coming up tomorrow is Delacour. I would say Delacour. It's not dull. Delacour. Delacour. What does that mean? From the heart. Delacour brandy from somewhere in America. Probably multiple distilleries. These things often are blended together from different deals that they get. I know it's bottled in St. Louis, Missouri. It says it on the bottle, bottled in St. Louis, Missouri by Luxco. There must be a bottling plant there. It's kind of bland, but it's pretty good. And I got the liter for $11.99. Imagine that, a whole liter for $11.99. So I got the Odessa, which I paid $11.99 for, regular bottle. Good deal, right? But I got a liter of Delacour for $11.99. Interestingly, all these fancy restaurants down in the French Quarter of New Orleans serve it at happy hour. They feature it, talk about it on their website. Don't know what the deal is with Delacour, but they're all talking about it. I found it once in my life. One time in my life, I found Delacour, and that was on Louisiana Highway 45 northbound in Marrero, Louisiana, at a very famous store here, a legendary store, I might say, and it's called Savannah Discount. You want to have your mind boggled? Now, for beer, nah, you're just going to say, that's just a regular old beer store. Ain't nothing special in here. And they got orange juice and milk if you want to buy those. There's a convenience store also. But wine, well, it's maybe slightly elevated in the wine selection. But if you want to get your mind boggled, check out their liquor selection. You will be stunned, shocked, fascinated, and flabbergasted. It's incredible. And then you can go to Discount Depot. It's almost as, not quite as incredible. Then go to the East Bank of the Mississippi River and go to International Market, and you'll be likewise stunned. And then go to Star, a little further west on the East Bank side of the river, and you'll be a little closer to the river, and you'll be stunned also again. And that's 4 liquor stores in Louisiana that I'm aware of that are incredible. I mean, Total Wine is in its own way, you know, in its big box way. I'm talking about incredible in a independent store, obscure, that you never heard of way. You know, that you can't believe it. Go to the West Bank of the Mississippi River, but you have to actually drive east to go west. If you're in New Orleans, you got to drive east because the river curves so much. It's like a big wiggly snake. So even if you live on the West Bank of New Orleans, you're actually east of the downtown and south of the eastern part. So sounds complicated, right? But if you go there, go to Discount Depot. So that's 1. Savannah Discount 2 on the east side. International Market 3. And Star. It's called Star 4. Unreal. Unreal. It's unreal. Now, the Whiskey Scout, who is taking a break from his channel for a while, he's got other stuff going on, but he's going to get back to doing videos. He says, that's why I call my channel the Whiskey Scout. I go all over America scouting out liquor stores. That's the first thing he does. Sees the liquor store, he goes scouting it out, looking for different whiskeys, mainly, not just whiskey, sometimes tequila and stuff. But when he said when he came to down here to those stores I just described, he couldn't get over it. He didn't go to Star. We didn't go there. They were under construction at the time for their expansion. But he couldn't get over it. He said, if I live down here, I go broke. I go broke. He said, because I wouldn't be able to stop buying. I would get too like caught up in it. You know, the prices are so unreal, talking about in a low way, in a cheap way. He said, I just wouldn't be able to get over it. I couldn't deal with it. So he said he was glad he didn't live down here. I mean, you know, to get a $55 bottle of Chivas Mitsunara Japanese oak version for $17.99, that's an example. That's like unheard of. It's just doesn't even make sense. All right, so the winner here, there is no winner. I'm the winner because I was able to tell them apart. But either brandy is a winner, all right? Either way you go, you win. And it'll probably be the same with Delacour. Okay, now, Max Walt says, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Max Walt. I don't know if y'all get Odessa in Russia, but I doubt it. Probably get Shustoff branded stuff. Wings and Pizza says, you hosting Stout Sunday today? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what John's plans are. So I'll find out. I probably won't find out till 30 minutes before Stout Sunday. Oh, well. It's not too hard to set it up, you know, honestly. I would rather if he did it because it's easier, you know. Doesn't involve any work joining the hangout, but hosting it is a little bit of a pain. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. All right, thanks. But be sure to watch it at 10:30 Eastern Time, a.m. this morning, Stout Sunday, either on my channel or John and Nilay's channel. So, good V.S.O.P. Odessa is very good. Not great, like fabulous, but quite good. Most excellent. All right, go and watch the news. Y'all take care now.